Good morning. Yeah, it's still morning. Had to check that. My name is Manny Sarmiento. I am the president, CEO, co-founder of the Doral Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you here to Community Newspapers. First and foremost, I want to thank Michael and Grant Miller, as I always do, our producer, Rachel, the entire Community Newspapers family, Doral Tribune, and our co-founder, CFO, I call her my everything because she's my wife too, is Carmen Lopez in the audience. She's shy again. Here we go. So today we have an exciting guest, and I'm excited. I was excited when I heard the news. I was excited when he was elected to the school board. Our friend, our amazing District 5. What is your title now? Board member. Okay. Danny Espino, welcome. So good to have you here, man. Thanks for accepting my invitation.
No, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having me.
I know you have a lot of stuff on your plate. All right.
Less now that I'm elected without opposition. Less now.
Let's start with the important stuff. Don't you have a birthday today?
It is in my third son's birthdays today.
Wow, and you have 4, right?
4 boys, absolutely.
So you know something about the school board, right?
Know something about kids in school. Yes, I do.
That was lovely when I did principal today at downtown Doral Elementary, Charter Elementary, and you walk in with Barbie and the kids. I was like, wow, that's exciting. I had more fun at that school than at the high school. It was fun. Those kids ask great questions.
Yeah, they do. That's great. It's
so
cool.
welcome. So tell us, you just got reelected, unopposed.
Yes.
I understand that. Who the heck's going to run against you? Man, you're doing, in my opinion, you're doing such an amazing job. I follow what you do. So tell us, how did your career get started? Why the school? You're an attorney. Why the school board? And how did you get elected to this position originally?
Well, I had the honor of being nominated by the governor and appointed by the governor.
Are you friends with the governor?
2022. I don't know that I would call ourselves friends. I'm certainly a supporter of his, and I honor his commitment to education, and I thought I did my part. But look, by and large, I would say that it's been my privilege, one way, shape, or another, most of my adult life, to have been of service to District 5. Started serving on city boards when I was just 19. Started City Council of Miami Springs. Then I had the privilege of serving a number of the communities in District 5, Doral, Miami Springs, Medley as city attorney, town attorney, or outside counsel to some of the other communities. Then I was kind of out of the game. And then out of nowhere, this opportunity comes up. And one thing that certainly has been a central point of my life is that when God calls to serve, I answer it. And so long as I'm doing well in the position, doing well by doing good, it's benefited me, benefited the community, and that's sort of been central to my life.
Well, it's always exciting, and I always get goosebumps when good people, when great things happen to great people, and I see that in you. I know your wife, Barbie Hernandez, of course, amazing city manager for the city of Doral and Parks Department. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore. Some other municipality got lucky and got her.
Doral's loss is Miami's gain.
Oh yeah, it's Doral's loss. It really is a big loss. Great people. So like I said, great things come to great people, and I think that's what happened to you. So I see the work you're doing. It's tough because sometimes you get politicians and even school board members who are put in. I haven't seen that. I've seen really some good school board members, which is so important.
These last 18 months in office has been great. I was fortunate to be appointed at the same time that there was a dramatic shift on the school board. I've got great colleagues on the school board that I joined, they joined me, however you want to look at it. Robert Alonso, Monica Colucci, shortly after Mari Blanco, along with our board chair. And we've had a tremendous working dynamic. I mean, despite what's covered in the news that tends to focus on the 5% or so of disagreements, the board is unanimous behind trying to improve Miami-Dade County's education system for ourselves, for our children, and for the future children of Miami-Dade County, wherever they may come from.
Well, I see great things happening. One of the biggest things is safety. So can you tell us what's going on? What policies have been implemented about school safety, and what's coming in the future?
Sure. I mean, look, our kids' safety is a top priority. You can't have kids focus on learning if they don't feel safe. And obviously we live in a topsy-turvy world where we're having to do things to make our children safe that never had to be done before. We have to walk a fine line, at least I do, between maximizing the safety of our schools and not making our schools feel like prisons, right? Because the moment we make our schools feel like prisons, our children become prisoners. And the reality is our schools are our children's second home. I mean, that's the way my boys feel at their school. They spend a considerable amount of time there. So obviously we've done a number of things as a district to implement the recommendations after Marjory Stoneman Douglas, single points of entry, limited access with security. But we can't sit back on our laurels because there's always going to be additional safety measures we can do. So this particular year, I was focusing on the things that we can focus on. Obviously, we're looking at a number of things facility-wise. We just looked at how we can provide additional screening in our schools before the people come in. One of the things that I brought forward this year was a system actually used by the military, whereby regardless of the shape, size, number of buildings of our campuses, there'll be a uniform way for mapping, cameras, and communications to first responders. What I mean by that is to say, if you have a first responder that responds to a school, and usually that's our school resource officer, that person has all the knowledge of that school in his or her head. What happens if that person goes down? And unlike what's happened in other parts of the state, our police, whether they're Miami-Dade County Public Schools police or city police, they know to go in, first person in, regardless of your backup, to make sure that they can stop any loss of life or to potentially respond to a medical emergency. Well, if all of a sudden the rest of the police respond and they're told the incident is occurring in the art studio or in the science lab, that doesn't mean anything. And they still have to walk through the entire school, clearing out that room by room, wasting valuable time. And so the system I brought forward, which is in the process of being implemented, will allow for a uniform mechanism to talk about school campuses in zones, tie it to their Motorola GPS radios, and I would say curtail or shorten the amount of time that it takes for police to respond by upwards of 75%. Wow. So in a situation where every minute counts, cutting the response time to 75% to know that the assailant or the shooter or the situation is happening in a particular zone and everyone's working and talking from the same sheet of music is really a dramatic change. We've also made bus safety a priority. You know, as we draw folks from all over the world to Miami, pedestrian safety continues to be a challenge. And when we're talking about pedestrian safety, we cannot exclude pickup and drop off. And unfortunately, Miami-Dade County, people still don't know 100% the rules around traveling around stopped buses. And so we added cameras in and out of the bus to ensure additional safety. Yeah,
and I think Doral was just implementing a program. I don't know if other municipalities for automated speed.
Yes, that was one of the things that was implemented by the state last year, passed by the state, now implemented by either cities or school districts, where it would be school speed zone infraction detectors or speed zone cameras. It's been up to each municipality to do it. I believe Doral is still in the implementing stage of it, but I know they had a preliminary approval for it.
Yeah. So I was approved in one of the previous, I think in a May council meeting. Let's go to let's talk about businesses. Now, a lot of businesses don't know about the internship program that Miami-Dade County Public Schools has. We were privy to it last year after I didn't know it had been running for years. What do you think of that program, the internship program? Yeah.
So I often say that we have great schools in Miami-Dade County, but the best ones are the ones with the most amount of community involvement. Certainly that includes parents, but that also includes businesses. A particular focus of mine this year has been on career and technical. I've kind of been on the bookends of things. We're focusing on education. My focus has been sort of early learning as well as career and technical. A big part of focusing on the career and technical is having the jobs, having the internships, externships lined up so that while our students are getting potential career and technical training in high school, and as they're lined up to do something post-high school, they also have the prospects of job and real-world experience. So just this meeting, for example, I brought an item forward directing the superintendent to draw down additional construction management curriculum, because we're having, actually, believe it or not, despite construction being a major industry for us, we're having a decline in people willing to work in construction. And I don't mean just laborers, I mean all the way up through six-figure jobs in construction management. So we're drawing down curriculum from the state. I've asked our community partners like the Latin Builders, Associated General Contractors, and Building Association of South Florida to bring together their members and also the University of Miami with their non-degree seeking certifications, and create a pipeline where our kids get some training through school, they get some certifications through the University of Miami, and then they get the internships and externships through the construction industry. And the idea is, let's shorten the time frame that it takes to get our kids the experience, to get them the well-paying jobs that'll keep them in the industries that we need in Miami.
Wow, that's amazing. There were a few programs running a few years ago on logistics.
Yeah.
Being Doral and South Florida being such a huge part in logistics. Any new programs or implementations on logistics?
Well, I'm proud to say that Miami Springs Senior High, thanks to actually a Teacher of the Year nominee, Mr. Acosta, started 2 magnet programs at Miami Springs Senior High. The one is aviation. So we have George T. Baker that tends to work on technical power plant electronics. He decided to create an aviation logistics separate pilot programs that have become very successful. And in that, I actually saw it myself. There, it teaches you the ins and outs of the logistics industry, from packaging all the way up to shipping. And shipping, I mean shipping, container shipping, not just shipping the package. So what we're trying to do, I think overall, is you never really know what's going to inspire a student, what's going to inspire a child. Like each one of my boys is different, and each one gets excited about different things. My intent, at least insofar as my first term, has been to look into our community and find the assets that we've got. Whether it's the Homestead Miami Speedway with the myriad of jobs that come from that, Inter Miami with the myriad of jobs, Southern Command, event production. What's the thing that makes the kids excited? If it's soccer, okay, well, we have 180,000 kids that want to be soccer players in Miami-Dade County. They're not going to be, but maybe they'll be excited about joining a related field in a burgeoning industry like soccer and sports management of soccer. Same thing goes for Homestead Miami Speedway. And we're just trying to figure out how can we expose our kids to a number of things that may open their eyes. At the end of the day, we know what we know, and our parents know what they know, and our parents can only expose our children to what they know. So by exposing them to a number of industries and fields, you may inspire a child to study more, to get a job in a particular thing, and make a decision for their life much earlier than they would otherwise.
Wow, you mentioned Homestead. Have you ever been to a NASCAR race?
Yeah. I mean, so
have you taken the kids?
We have. I actually, Mr. Garcia, the president out there, I reached out to him, and he's while he works in Homestead, he's actually quite a Miami guy, and said, listen, we're trying to open up NASCAR. Not because of just racing, but because of all the industries. The Homestead Miami Speedway, while we know it for one race out of the year, it actually has programming about another almost 300 days out of the year.
NASCAR Foundation, too.
Right, NASCAR Foundation, research and development. And these fields are science, technology, engineering, math, design, marketing, business, it's everything. And so these industries come down here, they use the facility and leave. So how can we have those industries and those players in the industry be leveraged for the benefit of our kids?
Well, please get me involved. Anything with NASCAR, get me involved.
I will. I absolutely will. But we got the race coming up in October.
Yeah. I've been there. I've been there representing community newspapers and some other media. That's the best part, because you're in the background having lunch with the drivers, the drivers meetings, and then to be honest, we leave when the race starts.
Well, listen. For example, because, every single year, our career and technical superintendent hosts a career expo at the fairgrounds. And this year we've been able to bring a NASCAR out twice and showcase not just the racing, but everything that they're associated with. And it draws kids in. If we don't want to become like Monroe County, for example, which I love the Keys, but try and get yourself a technician of any kind, for your car, for your home, for anything. It's impossible. And the reality is, there are a number of fields where we have a desperate need as a community, but they're also paying significant salaries. That is, I don't prescribe that every student has to go to a 4-year university and saddle themselves with student loan debt when we have 6-figure jobs that can be started to be gained right out of high school. For example, George T. Baker Aviation is in my district, and I talk to the principal all the time, and he tells me Delta, American Airlines routinely call and say, we need technicians to keep the planes going. Starting salaries $96,000.
Wow. Can you talk about George T. Baker? A lot of people don't know about George T. Baker.
Yeah, George T. Baker is one of our career and technical offerings that you can actually So let's just say you have a student that decides to go to George T. Baker. Your first 2 years will go to your home high school, whatever that might be, and then your second 2 years you do that in collaboration with George T. Baker.
Wow!
And you can actually graduate from George T. Baker with at least one of the licenses that you need to be an aviation technician.
That's avionics, power plant.
Yeah, avionics, power plant, and welding. I think it's another one, right?
Wow!
And so the reality is these jobs are paying significant amounts of money.
Yeah, they are.
And one of the things that they did last year for the first time as a district is we had a unified graduation of all the career and technical schools. And frankly, as many young women I saw going into cosmetology, nails, and whatever else, I'd love it for them to say, hey, I can do avionics. Mm-hmm. And instead of making minimum wage plus tips, I can make almost $100,000 within a year of graduating high school.
Well, the nails, they only pay minimum wage because, I mean, Carmen pays like $50 for nails, okay?
Maybe I got to refer him to
Let's
that.
get into that business, okay? Right. All right. How is it? What was the transition like for you? That must have been, you had no concepts originally of joining the school board. And all of a sudden, DeSantis comes down. And by the way, I love DeSantis' policies. You can call them controversial or not. I love because he protects our kids. He protects our families. It's my choice. It's my choice. I want to make those choices, be able to, and I think that's what DeSantis has done. So what was the transition like going from an attorney, and you're still an attorney, but going from practicing law to now taking care of our kids?
So I don't pretend to be a professional educator. And I would see, obviously, as a father, as a parent, we educate our children from birth on to their entire lives. I'm not a professional educator. However, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, at the end of the day, is a government. It is a local government, and I happen to speak government. I've been involved in local governments for 15 years, so I speak budget, I speak contracts, I speak procurement, I speak policy development. For 15 years, almost 15 years, a number of our communities entrusted me to provide them legal guidance, both to the elected officials as well as the administrations on a myriad of fields. And I've been able to apply those almost immediately. I understand collective bargaining with our teachers and our others, and our service unions, our workforce. So the education gap, no pun intended, was about the magic that happens in the classroom, and how we implement state law and how to implement the requirements of state law. The rest of the stuff was about figuring out who does what. But otherwise, I understood that language, and so it's allowed me to hit the ground running. And prepare policy positions and other positions on the board that by the time they're working their way through, they're already got a lot of substance behind it. So, but I will tell you, I have never seen more acronyms in my life. It's an alphabet soup at Miami-Dade County Public Schools. There's a 4 or 3 letter combination for every office, and I'm still coming up to speed on all those.
We use acronyms at the chamber too.
I'm sure.
As far as you, where did you come from? Did you grow up in Miami?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am proud to say I'm a lifelong District 5 resident, born and raised in Miami Springs. Went to school down here.
You were born in Miami Springs?
Well, I mean, born in Miami, but I mean...
but you're one of the few.
Yeah, I'm born in...
Natives left.
Right, natives from Miami. Natives from Miami, which is rare, especially nowadays. I've seen more license plates than I could ever imagine seeing in Miami. But born and raised, and...
Schools? What schools?
I went to Blessed Trinity, I went to Pace, I went to UM, I went to NSU, and... my parents just, first generation born here. I saw my family go from working in mattress factories in Medley, which is still there, Florida Bedding, next to the old Animal Services building.
Your parents are Cuban?
Yeah, Cuban. Yeah, my parents are Cuban, grandparents are Cuban. I'm of Cuban descent.
What year did they come over?
My dad came over from Cuba in 1961. Oh, wow. My mom ended up having to be held back in Cuba. They worked in internment camps until 1971 when she got out. Wow. And so, yeah, I mean, my parents did a very good thing for me. Number one is imbuing me the lessons that they learned of fleeing a communist country, and how this country can't become like that. Mm-hmm. That's a battle we're going through right now. It's a topic for another conversation. Yes. But the other thing is having come to this country with absolutely nothing, and the power of the ability to rise, right, through hard work and education. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what my parents told me. I ask them all the time because I want to make sure my kids get that. But it's always been imbued in me that we have to make sure that Miami-Dade County continues to be a place that allows people to rise if they want to choose to rise. Mm-hmm. If they, but that there's opportunity to rise, not an entitlement to rise, but an opportunity to rise through hard work and education. So I've done that, trying to work in the communities that were and incrementally changing as they go, and that's at my core of being on the school district. That there is no greater rising tide than an education.
Now, I believe in parent involvement, community involvement. As far as the school board meetings, and as far as their children's education and interaction with the school board and their local schools, how do you suggest that parents get more involved?
Sure.
Or how can they get more involved?
I will tell you that I'm privileged that in my district we have such great parent involvement, and that's not always the case. And I know that a lot of parents, in order to make ends meet, are working sometimes 2 jobs plus a gig economy of an Uber Eats or something like that, and it's incredibly difficult. The district does an amazing job of having pathways to communicate with our parents, and I know them because I experienced them firsthand. You know, there's calls, there's text messages, there's apps, there's emails, and then there's also volunteering opportunities. One of the things that has been re-energized over the last couple of years has been the Parent Academy that Miami-Dade County Public Schools offers, which is typically virtual, but also in-person events that expose the resources that Miami-Dade County Public Schools has. One of the challenges, I think, is that we have a lot going on. It's just a matter of getting that information out to the parents.
It's a lot of information.
A lot of information. So we're working presently right now on creating a Parent Academy hub in Doral at Eugenia B. Thomas. We're relocating our offices to Eugenia B. Thomas, and there'll be a facility there for us where we can actually have closer to the main part of our district, a location for parents to go. We've also augmented those things with town halls. Typically, town halls are boring and they're just about one-way communication. What we try to do is combine information to parents, recognitions to students, benefits. You know, we've given away NASCAR tickets, Marlins tickets, Cena Bistro, and the idea is, can we couple information about school safety? Can we couple information about mental health offerings? Can we couple about parental involvement and create a new dynamic where it's an engagement and not just a one-way communication? And it's really trying to pull every single lever to make sure that parents have all the information to make the right choice.
All right, fantastic. Well, listen, this has been, I know you're short on time and we're running short on time, so I think it's very important that we do this. Can we wish your boy a happy birthday?
Yes, absolutely. Elliot, happy birthday, buddy.
Hey, where's Elliot? Where's my camera? Right there. Elliot, middle camera? Okay, camera right there. Happy birthday, Elliot. How old is he?
He's 7 today.
All right. How are you going to celebrate tonight?
We have a little get together tonight. We're doing a pool party with all the boys tomorrow, so a good weekend of fun.
All right. Well, have fun, Elliot. With that said, this is a great platform for you. Michael, Grant Miller, and the whole community newspapers families are always open. I'm writing more. That's why I got this. This is the latest issue. I'm writing more for them. I submitted, and it's already in the social media and in the email platform about you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. I see you got the what's coming to JCB High School coming up.
Yeah, I have to read it. I have to read. One of the things I want to bring to the school board is to change that name, but we'll talk about that. Okay. I like a little controversy. Okay. So with that said, I really want to thank you. Anything that we can do for you, I can do for you.
And likewise, I mean, I'd love to make it so that both the Doral Chamber as well as community newspapers continues to be a means of bridging that gap also between the community and Miami-Dade Public Schools, because it takes a whole village.
My daughter's 30 years old, so and she went through and she lives in Atlanta, and she ran through the whole Miami-Dade County public school system, and it was a great experience for her, and she has great success. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the community newspapers family. I want to thank our producer Rachel, Grant, Michael Miller, Carmen Lopez, our amazing everything that I call her. I like to embarrass her. I got to bring her on camera one day so you can see her face get red one day. But thank you so very much. This is the weekend coming up soon, so God bless you all. Have an amazing day, and thank you once again. Thank you, Danny. I want to bring you back.
You got it whenever you want.